Welcome back. Stalls, Clark, and E-Rob. Get ready for our grand finale. Let's go back to the NFL. Finish this thing up. All right. It's funny.
It is funny because Eric just
Football.
made some ribs. Hang on, some ribs.
Football.
And chicken that I just tore up. So if you see me licking and doing all that, man, that's why.
Okay.
Football.
Football. Everything when it comes to this virus, we every box we check when it comes to this virus, the virus is unchecked the boxes. Right. For the longest, we've been talking about how we just wanted to get to June. Let's get to summer. Let's see if this virus can handle summer.
Right.
And it is stronger than ever. So every box we check, it's come back and unchecked it. Now, throughout all of this time, with baseball being on hold, the NBA coming to a stoppage, there was no March Madness, there was really no sports. There was no sports on TV.
No.
The NFL has benefited from the fact that, well, our season is still 6 months out.
Right.
You know, when the NBA stopped, the NFL was like, okay, how does that affect us? That's 6 months worth of research.
Right.
We may have a vaccine in place by the time our season kicks off.
Right.
Well, here we go.
Right.
We are into July. Training camps are supposed to start in less than 20, what's the date, the 4th, the 3rd?
24th.
25 days.
Yeah.
25 days. We're right at 3 weeks. And this virus, this virus has been an unstoppable freight train. And now we're coming up on the NFL season. The NFL has recently come out and said, all right, well, what we're going to do is we are going to eliminate weeks 1 and 4 of the preseason. The Players Association came back and said, well, we didn't sign off on that, and you can't do that without our approval. The NFL says, well, we've got ultimate say-so in what happens with our preseason. We don't need your say-so in order to do this. Woo. The union says, instead of having 2 preseason games, let's eliminate them all. What we would prefer to do is ramp up our conditioning for the entire summer and start the season in September. The NFL says, no, we want 2 preseason games.
Right.
But the Players Union unanimously agreed that that's the best course of action. Eliminate all 4 preseason games. We don't want to put ourselves at unnecessary risk.
Right.
Plus, in addition to that, we got to travel. When we can be conditioning, getting ready, 7-on-7, 11-on-11. We don't want to be traveling to another city ready to play a game that means nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
Your thoughts on the NFL the Players Union wanting to eliminate the preseason, the NFL wanting to reduce the preseason, and how you would go if you had the final say so.
I think that if you're going to start the season, which I hope they do, fans won't come, all that jazz. Don't think you need fans, whatever. If you're going to eliminate the preseason, in my mind, all you got to do is give me 4 or 5 roster spots, and it's a done deal. Now I know as far as revenue, TV revenue, etc.
Right.
I get all that argument, but as a football club, fine. I'll forego my 4 preseason games.
2.
Okay, 2, 4, whatever.
Now we're down to 2.
But if you give me 4 or 5 more roster spots, that's what my 4 preseasons or 2 seasons games is going to do anyways. Because I see these guys in practice. Surely they're not making their opinion based upon how they always perform in a game.
Right.
Now, one dude might just do that thing. That's always a possibility. But he's in the 0.01%, baby.
Right.
The rest of you sons of guns have been doing this in practice, and they know what time it is.
Right.
Agree or disagree?
No, I agree. I'm always pro player. So as a player, you don't want to play preseason games. You don't want to do anything that doesn't count. You want to play games. I want to work out, practice. That's enough.
So what's a good trade-off
for me? Well, I want to complete my thought. So as a player, definitely don't want preseason game.
Right.
So, I mean, as an owner, you want the games because it's money, it's revenue.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. We have to look at it from each perspective. As a player, from the player's perspective, I just want to play the games that count.
Right.
As an owner, I want that bread. In my opinion, so I guess basically at the end of the day, I think that the owners should capitulate to the players, in my opinion, in this situation, in 2020, in the situation that we're in.
Right.
Forego those dollars, which I know probably might get fucking heads exploded. forgo those dollars to be smart and practical and at least give the appearance that you
Forego
care about
all
your players.
4 or just the 2? Where are you?
The 2. I mean, we're down to 2.
So
they
you
want to
say-
get rid of those last 2. So we're at 2.
All right.
That's what it's going to be.
So you're saying 2
Scrap
period
all
or
four.
2 gone?
Yeah, it's not going to happen because, like I was
2 of preseason
saying,
gonna happen?
Yeah, that money, they're not trying to give up that money.
Everybody
And then
everybody gets a home game?
Here's what they're gonna say though. They're not gonna come out and say we don't want to give up the money. What they're gonna say is we want to have time to evaluate
Right.
players.
No, we need a dry run with our stadium of how everything works and the clock and everything. And
Man, you
And
can do that without a game.
I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying that's going to be the argument.
Right. It's gonna be that's a terrible fucking argument.
Everybody gets a home game to make sure all the systems work. Come on. Let's be honest. If you ever go in the game,
can't make
if
that
that's ever a part of your game plan going into the season, baby, we got problems. But they do run those. The NFL does take the opportunity to use that as a dress rehearsrsal for all of their employees to be ready for game day. Well, let's not forget that. It's not just the game. There's a lot of people behind the scenes that make an NFL. I mean, that might not be fair to say, but there are a lot of things that have to go into the production that happens with what you see on camera. There's a lot of stuff.
I don't think they care about anything.
They don't. That's why I stopped myself in the middle of it.
They care about that money.
Because it's like, do they hike the ball? And I'm like, no, they don't. Like, do they throw the ball?
No. You do.
And that's really all that matters.
Dude selling popcorn.
Like everything can break down behind the scenes, but as long as everything's working between the hash marks, it doesn't really matter.
No shit.
Yeah.
So I don't even know where you're going with that.
Well, I was just going on, the fact that there's a lot of people that it takes to pull off an NFL
Right, but the
production.
dude selling popcorn don't need much practice.
Well, he's not going to have a job this year. Let's be honest. There's no fans. I was more talking about the guys filming and the guys having an opportunity to set their camera on the field and get the motion going.
Go film practice.
And the water boys being able to set stuff up on the sideline. There's a ton of stuff that has to happen. But does it ultimately matter?
It's about.
Yeah, but that's part of why you play preseason.
That's
don't you
not
think?
why they pay. No.
Oh, you don't think so at all?
No, because of the money. If there was no money to be
That's why
made
they
out
play
of it,
4 preseason games.
if there was no money to be made, the owners wouldn't give a damn about no dress rehearsal. They wouldn't want to pay the money to light up the damn.
I think
stadium
you're
for 4
underselling the
games.
dress rehearsal. I think you're underselling it. That's all
No,
I'm
it's
saying.
all about the fact that they build those 2 extra home preseason games into the season
Tickets.
No doubt.
ticket package, so they can
So
charge
you have to get it, right?
You have to get it, so they can charge you full price
Right.
for a game that nobody watches.
That's huge. But
It
with,
all comes down to dollars.
but with current PSLs, that honestly doesn't even really factor in because if you own that, you have refusal not to buy the tickets, but you're going to pretty much get the tickets. That's your seat at Mercedes-Benz. So the way you buy tickets is different nowadays than it was, at least when I was growing up. There wasn't really personal seating license like there are now. That's a totally
They didn't
different.
exist.
Right. So that's a totally different. I agree with you, but it's also, it's like, listen, man, this is your seat. You either want the tickets or you don't. And
All right, so what do you do if you're making the decision? What do? You eliminate the preseason, you play 2? What do you do?
I think it's fair because I think dress rehearsals matter a little bit. You
For the
can't
stadium people?
hold on, but you can't be mad if the reps aren't there. Whereas, okay, you normally have a couple 4 preseason games. 2 games, your starters never touch the field for the most part.
Right.
Agreed?
4 they don't play. One they play a series, which is
Right, so
ridiculous.
barely per- yeah.
2 they play a quarter.
Right.
And then 3 they play a half, and then usually maybe as much as a
So
quarter
you're
of
telling
the
me
third quarter.
in those 4
the second
games,
half.
they don't already know those answers in practice? I told you, give me 4 players added to my active roster, and the conversations. We don't have to play any preseason games. Let's
Okay,
go.
well, that's right now. The practice squad is going to be 12, and they're talking about it being as much as 20.
Well, they definitely have to do that if they cut 2. That's a no-brainer.
They don't have to do that.
They don't have to, but they should.
Listen, all right. What do you do? I'm holding my point for you.
Yeah, no, like I said, I'm a pro player. I would scrap.
Eliminate them?
Scrap
All 4 of them?
Yeah. And like I said, I would want to expand those practice rosters.
What about the active roster?
53.
Nah,
Keep it there?
Yeah,
53.
Yeah,
You're carrying 20 extra guys on your practice squad. That's 73 players.
definitely expand
Okay.
the practice roster.
Good point. This is
I know.
That's a
We're
great
talking
point.
football.
Yeah, that's a
Make
great
that.
point. All right, sounds good.
So then,
Hold on.
So then, what do you do? So where are you at?
Yeah, what do you do?
In
Greg?
terms of the
Sucker?
Scrap the preseason.
Okay.
Scrap the preseason completely.
I think every player.
We play a full college football season without any preseason games, and the product doesn't suffer.
Right.
We play high school football without preseason, and the product doesn't suffer.
And that's what I was saying.
You don't need the preseason. Let me tell you how you fix it.
Go ahead.
Let me tell you how you fix it. What I do to fix it, I split the roster.
All right.
All right, here's what I do. I'm giving 20 practice squad spots.
Right.
Okay? So I split the roster. My 53 are going to all be veterans because we're in unprecedented times. We didn't have an offseason. Listen to me carefully. And I need you to listen, and if you have a question, stop me after I make my point, and then we'll expand on it.
Okay.
But listen to the entire plan.
Get it.
And then tell me if you think I'm crazy or not.
Okay.
We got 53.
You're crazy. I can
And then we got 20, and then we got 20 practice squad spots.
Right.
My 53 are going to be players that have at least 1 year of experience in my system that can play my system and know my playbook, because we didn't have an off season. I didn't have an opportunity to evaluate my rookies. They've had no field work whatsoever.
Right.
Okay? My rookies, particularly my first, second, and third round pick, I ask that my rookies be allowed to go on my practice squad and not be subject to waivers. Typically, when it comes to the practice squad, you have to cut them first,
Right.
and then you have to hope that nobody claims them so you can sneak them on the practice squad. Number one, I'm going to ask that I be allowed to put my practice squad guys, my first, second, and third round rookies on my practice squad without them being subject to waivers. If not, I want to be able to put them on the back end of my roster as part of my 53.
Right.
Okay? Then I'm going to split my roster. I'm going to carry 3 quarterbacks. If your quarterback gets sick on a Saturday, you are screwed.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay? I'm going to split my roster. My third string quarterback, I'm going to quarantine him. He's never going to come to the facility. I don't need him catching anything.
I hear it.
I don't need him catching anything. I am going to keep him away from
He's
the
the
facility.
designated survivor.
I'm going to keep him away from the facility. I'm going to hire a second offensive coordinator or an assistant head coach. His job, again, I'm going to split the roster.
All right.
While my first team is getting ready, while they're practicing on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, getting ready to play a game, my assistant head coach is going to be getting my second team, my backup quarterback and my second team at a different off-site facility. They could use the stadium if they need to. The stadium that they play in is not being used during the week.
Right.
Have them practice as if they're getting ready for a game.
Okay.
So that if somebody gets sick and fails a test on Saturday, I can call that guy up from that second team, and he has practiced a full week like he's preparing to play a game.
Sure.
Okay? And then that gives me a backup in case anybody on my first team gets sick and I need to call somebody else up from my second team so that my team doesn't suffer.
Right.
And that's how I go into my season.
Hey man, I'll tell you right now, I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Because I don't have a preseason, that gives me my players report on July 28th.
Right.
That gives me roughly just under 7 weeks to get my team ready to play a football game.
Agreed.
That's 4 solid weeks to ramp them up physically and get them conditioned.
Right.
And then 3 weeks of field work. That's 3 weeks of 7-on-7 and 11-on-11 and 11-on-11, and I'm ready to go September 3rd.
So I'll tell you,
September 10th, whatever it is.
I agree with you 100%. I think we're speaking the same language. When I was talking about just give me 4 or 5 players on my active roster, you talk about expanding my practice roster to this and then putting confinements on what can happen with picking up players.
Yeah.
Fine. I'm all for that, 100%, because ultimately you're expanding the roster. That's all I was really trying to say.
And then another thing, if I'm allowed to put my first, second, and third round rookies on my practice squad without them having to clear waivers, I want to have the ability to be able to call them up. Say someone gets sick, I can call them up to my active roster. Once my regular guy gets back, I can kick them back to the practice squad without any type of
penalties.
So the only part of this logistically, So you're saying that when you say split, you mean split, so they're not in the same locker room?
I think that's a
They're not
GM.
doing
I'm
anything?
keeping them away
I mean,
from.
totally
I am
split.
keeping them away. I don't need them. If somebody comes down with that
I think that's a
virus
GM decision.
on my first team, I don't need that second team to be. They're practicing at a different facility. They are completely separate away from my first team. But they are practicing as they are preparing as if they're going to play a football
I think it's a
game.
great idea, but I think that is a GM decision. But more importantly, what I would like to elaborate.
Why is it a GM
However you want to break your team up and however you want to travel and all that, that's how you run your franchise, right? That's what your general manager typically does.
If my first team is healthy, my second team
Hold
doesn't
on.
have to travel.
Hold on. I would more like to dig into about this expanding the roster thing because I think that's the crux of this thing.
Okay.
I mean, you have to have that happen one way or the other. You either have to expand the practice squad or you have to expand the active
Well,
roster.
we already talked about that.
I'm telling you, they've
added
already
20
kicked
players.
practice squads up to 12.
Yeah.
They were 8, now they're 12. 12's a given.
But it
They're
should be
talking
like
about
20.
kicking them up to 20.
Yeah, it should be, but shouldn't it?
Yeah.
Especially if he's right.
That's gonna
If
happen.
a quarterback on Saturday night tests positive for COVID, what are they going to do, E? Are they going to report it? If it's the NFL giving the test, they might. What if it's the team test?
It will be the NFL.
Will they turn
It
it
might
in?
be the NFL.
You can't leave that to the
You
team.
can't leave that to the team. Just like they
For what
got
you're saying, for example.
I don't know. I'm just asking. I'm not saying anything. I'm asking a question. Saturday night, Tom Brady tests positive for COVID-19.
just like they got an independent doctor that looks at
Anybody,
concussions.
anything.
Right.
They're gonna have an independent person doing this testing.
You have to.
So talk to me.
So there's no getting around it.
Not with the NFL.
You remember back in the day when you could get around getting jacked up in a concussion and nobody, you just got to play?
Yeah, because the team
Hold
got to
on.
look at you.
Is there any cheating? This COVID test.
No, because the difference between what they used to do with concussions and what they do with concussions now, there's an independent doctor.
Yes. That makes
Not
a
affiliated with the team.
That works for the league.
That works for the league and looks at this guy. He's going to make the determination.
He doesn't look right. Bring him over here so we can test him out.
Now, in the past,
That fixes
you were going to the team doctor,
All
he's
right.
going to look at you and be like, oh, you good. No matter your eyes be crossed, get him back out there. You good. Go
Give him
back
a
out
Viking and he's good.
there. Right, shoot him up or hit him across the
Shoot
head
him
or some
up.
shit.
Okay.
Send him back out there.
Hell yeah. That's messed up, but it is what it is.
Go and get him back. Yeah, you get that shit. Yeah, for real. So what do you do?
I think
That's my idea. What do you do?
Now that's interesting. That's logistically, I just wonder how that. You'd have to totally keep them. I mean,
You'd have to totally keep them separate. Because you don't want them getting sick.
right now I get what you're saying.
And my third string quarterback, like I said, I quarantine him. He doesn't even come to the facility. Because if my first team quarterback goes down, now my second team guy is my starter. Now I need to bring that third string guy to my second team and let him start preparing because now he's the backup.
all right, I'm gonna trip y'all out. I think
I like this idea of regular time.
what? Right now?
Not a bad idea. It's not a bad way to get through a
I mean, you
season.
talking about developing your players too.
And you're developing
You know
your
what I'm saying?
players.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Because part of the problem
No,
is
go ahead.
your first team takes all of the reps during practice.
That's what I'm saying. With the NFL, the backups don't even
Your
really
backups,
right.
your backups, like
That's
your
exactly.
quarterback. If your quarterback gets hurt, he's just thrown out there and expected to go win a game, dog. He hadn't
Yeah,
taken.
practice.
He's been working with the scout team all week. He has to put on a helmet now and go out there and he's expected to win that football game.
The whole time
Saturday
you were
night.
talking about your idea, the only thing I was thinking about was, that's a good way to develop your team. Those guys who wouldn't be getting those reps, they're getting major reps in front of the major decision makers.
So you don't think there's any little bit of that happening right now?
Not when the season starts.
Not when the season
Backups
starts.
don't
Yeah, that's
really-
true. Not when the
backups
season
just
starts.
don't really. And that's what you're talking about, like in the season.
Yeah.
Kinda-
Well, he's talking about a dude coming down with this on Saturday night, and it's not just the
Right.
quarterback. It's not just the
Right.
quarterback position.
Absolutely.
It's every
It could be the
position.
left tackle.
Yeah.
Right. Oh.
It could be the left tackle.
It's every
It
position.
could be your starting defensive end. Your
Right.
your edge
They all
rush.
matter.
Right.
You know, any of them
Your
guys
field
come
goal
down with this,
kickers
and
out.
you are going to feel it. It's
Your
going to
punter's
impact
out.
your football team.
Right.
That's a problem.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a problem, Greg. You lose your kicker, it's a problem. I don't care what you say, it's a problem.
I don't know.
All right. You can't do it on Saturday night.
He can. I'm sorry.
Get that
I was
mother-
there from the club.
Get his ass on the plane. Tell him to be at the stadium by 12 o'clock.
I do not
pregame
condone
warm
this,
up.
but whatever. All right. NFL.
What's your idea?
I think
I don't have one. I'm with that. I like that. I
It is
almost
a good
like
idea.
that during even without COVID.
Like going forward.
Yeah. I mean, not necessarily will you have split totally like that.
Right. Well, yeah. You take COVID out of the equation, then you don't have to segregate. You don't have to
I
keep
like
guys
giving
out of
those
the
young
line.
guys those reps. They need those reps. You develop, you get a chance to see them in your system doing the things that you
But
want
now,
to
Eric, do you want to see
And
those
that
guys
was
in
the
a
purpose of
preseason
the
game?
Alliance of American Football. It was supposed to do that.
Right.
Send these younger guys down there who don't get the reps, let them play spring football. Unfortunately, the league folded.
Now what?
Do you want to see those guys you're talking about investing in a couple preseason games?
I don't give a shit about seeing them. I'm
on,
talking about
man.
the coaches.
All right, for as much as dog shit we give preseason games, right? To
I
sit
don't-
here and say that they don't matter and contribute and help in a lot of ways is not fair. Now to go from 4-2, but y'all talking go from 2-0. 4-0 is a big deal, I think, for franchise.
I don't think so.
4-2, I think is doable and it makes sense for everybody.
I disagree.
Everybody, all other levels of football play without fucking preseason.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, from a business standpoint, I think it makes sense to go from 4-2-0. I don't think it makes sense to go to 4-0.
See, I ain't talking about business. I'm talking about
Well, I mean, just that is what it
Again,
is.
I always, and I preface what I was saying from the beginning. I advocate for the players. And
Yeah,
from the players'
you did say that.
perspective, I don't need preseason. That's what I
But if
was
you're
saying.
advocating for the players, you almost say, hey man, if I'm that tweener guy, and give me as many
Hey, man.
opportunities. I'm just saying.
That's on you.
Okay. Practice. You in practice they already know.
Like you said, most of the time you already know. You don't need that preseason game to see that. You
but
said-
every once in a while there's a diamond in the rough now.
Well, fuck it. We gonna miss that. We'll catch it. Fuck it. Okay.
That's true.
Now, to your point, Shannon Sharp admits if it weren't for the preseason, he would have never made it.
That's what I'm saying.
Terrell
man.
Davis.
You never know.
Terrell Davis.
There's no doubt.
There is no doubt about
There's
him.
no doubt.
He became a star in a preseason game
No doubt. For sure.
on special teams.
Yep.
And he ended up making that damn
Yep.
team. And then
Yep.
we know what he did and when he got his shot.
But I mean, those are both prime examples of diamonds in the rough. Now, I agree that ain't going. That's some rare.
Well,
shit.
and the thing
But
is,
you're erasing
to
that.
say he wouldn't have,
potential.
got on later.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? Without preseason. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Either you can or you can't. At the end of the day.
But I don't think you need the preseason.
I don't know.
I don't want to, particularly in this year, because it's unprecedented.
right.
Yeah.
You know, you run the risk of getting players sick.
Sure.
I'll be honest with you guys. I'm gonna say something right now.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna be honest with you guys. And we both played. We all played. We understand this.
Right.
The game of football was built to spread COVID.
Well,
No
I mean,
doubt.
yeah, you definitely.
It was
touched
built to spread COVID. Okay. There's wars going on afoot from each other in the trenches.
Yeah.
What they say is particles coming from the mouth.
Yeah.
All right. There's spit flying on every plate. There's guys breathing out of their mouths. There's guys breathing out of their mouths. There's guys grunting. There's guys growling. Listen, the game of football was built to spread this virus.
If one
No
key
doubt.
player has it, everybody has it.
So,
Yep.
in this type of year particularly,
much, huh?
I don't want to expose my players, number one, to that virus unnecessarily in a meaningless game, and two, to an injury. You go out there and tear up your goddamn knee in a meaningless game
Right.
that means nothing when I could have avoided all of this.
Michael Vick against the Ravens.
Michael Vick against the Ravens. There you
Whatever,
go.
I agree with you, though.
Didn't he break his
was
fibula?
He got snapped up, man.
Damn.
Yeah. Snapped his
There
shit.
you go. And it fucked their whole season up.
Well, as a fan who had season tickets, it just sucked, man.
So
I can't even tell you.
I don't think you need the preseason.
I don't like preseason.
Let them ramp, give coaches an opportunity to get them in the building and ramp them up. Give them 7 weeks to get them ramped up and ready to play.
Right. Yeah, I don't disagree. As long as you're
Because
going to give them more opportunities on the roster.
There's been no OTAs, there's been no mini camps, there's been no opportunity to do any field work. And you got to condition them. You got to get them conditioned first, and then you got to get them on field work.
Question. In normal training camps, you have inter squad. Like scrimmages.
They're not doing that this year.
That's not going to happen this year?
No.
No, they're not gonna let
See,
that.
that's what I'm saying.
I
So,
read something about that.
to me, I can evaluate what I need to evaluate in terms of who's going to make my team with those. I don't need a preseason game.
Coaches will tell you those are more valuable.
I know it is.
I don't disagree.
Every single coach will tell you that's more valuable. We get more out of these inter squad scrimmages than we do the preseason.
But if you're a coach and it's your franchise, wouldn't it behoove you to have more opportunities on your roster? The guys that you tweeners that you might not know could or could not make the team the more slots I have to be wrong or right about the decisions makes my job way less stressful.
But they don't give you those.
Right, you're talking about these practice players.
Right, so either active roster or practice, however you want to divide it, man, just give me more opportunities.
You're going to get those. I think that's definitely going to happen.
You're gonna
And more importantly than just keep guys, not allow other teams to come and pluck them. Because Greg made the point about penalties with that. Like, all right, now if I sign this 20th player to my practice squad, what does that mean? Does that mean this dude can come pluck him?
Right.
But you can't pluck him and put him on your practice squad. If you
gotta put him on the squad.
You got to put him on your active roster, which means he's making more money.
Right, and now you
That's
have
the
the
reason they don't
opportunity
block.
as another franchise to watch film.
I can come get your practice squad guy, but I can't say, oh man, he's
Okay.
pretty good. I'm gonna stick him on my practice squad. I got to put him on my active roster.
Devil's advocate.
That means he gets a raise.
Devil's advocate point here.
Yeah,
All right.
of
So now you don't have inter-practice squads to know about deep guys on the bench, and you don't have preseason games to know about inter-practice squads on the bench.
Why do you
So when
think they're not
hold
gonna
on.
have
So when
deep
something
practice
happens
squads?
to your squad and you need to add an active player, if he's not on your practice squad or somebody you want to go get, a left tackle, anybody, you have just lessened your pool of video confirmed footage on grabbing a guy. Does that make sense?
Because you didn't have any preseason.
Because you have none.
Use all the other damn film you got.
I
know. But use all the other film and ways to
mean,
evaluate.
that's obvious, but I'm just saying that matters. Let's just not act like
Right,
that
so,
doesn't matter.
so we're only talking about guys who've never played the NFL because if they've already played the NFL, you got to take.
Sure.
All right then, so that's not a big chunk.
Or
Okay.
2-year guys coming back off of just learning the NFL. I mean, I would count freshmen and sophomore guys, but okay, to your point, you're right.
You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah. But I would give guys a chance, like, okay. Like he got drafted, but damn, he was horrible his rookie year. But this year, I think there's a lot of guys that have done that.
right, but I'm not gonna really worry about them. If I find them, I find them. If I don't, I don't.
I know, but I'm
Whatever.
just, my point with, I agree with you, but my point is if I find him, it might not happen like you're saying. If I find him, it might not happen. If he's buried on a practice squad in Kansas City, you're gonna find him in Buffalo.
Okay,
All right.
well, that happens now. I guess I don't see what your
It's
point
gonna
is.
always happen. Is all. My only point is if you have no opportunity to see a bunch of guys, at least in 2 games, you're gonna cycle through everybody. Like if you're a guy trying to make a squad, all you want is some game tape, man.
Here, I guess my disconnect of what you're saying is yes, us three might be watching a preseason game and not know who the 130.
Of course we don't.
We don't know, but all the GMs, they know who all these guys are. They don't need this shit.
Right.
They're not watching that game for that.
But if they see-
there's not a surprise. It's not like, oh, we never.
But they're not going to be able to watch the practice play. But if there's that couple, 2-3 plays that happens that they get to see out of just watching game film, which is what their job is, then that might be the difference in who your starting left tackle for 12 years is, man. Y'all just gave me 2 great examples. I'm just saying it matters. I just can't throw it out like, oh, it don't matter. Now, should
don't think-
starters play? That's a whole different argument. But 2 games? Listen, I don't need my starters going out there. If they don't know what the hell they're doing because of preseason, we got bigger problems anyway. But as far as letting other guys rep and let everybody else do what they need to do to make sure that everything goes off without a hitch on week 1, fine, play them. These dudes are trying to land on any squad they can anyways. Run it. And if people are willing to pay for that, fine. But I don't think starters should touch the field in preseason, ever.
We disagree there.
Yeah, we just gonna disagree on that.
We can agree to disagree.
Yeah, we
Sure.
don't have to. Because this whole, what you're saying, I hear what you're saying, I get it. It's just on every other level, they don't do it and they somehow figure it out. So these players that you're talking about, they will get found somehow. If you, it just,
Just look at the college game.
Yeah,
the
just-
product does
right.
not suffer.
I guess.
Greg, make no mistake about it. I'm not saying that the NFL won't successfully go off without a hitch, with or without the NFL preseason. I don't care, one way or the other. I just want to watch real football, right?
Right.
I'm just saying, you can't sit here and tell me that it doesn't benefit franchises. I think you guys are underselling how beneficial it might be to a lot of guys' potential careers. Whether it's a 3-year guy or a 12-year guy, Hall of Famer. I think that shit matters, man, and y'all are underselling it. That's all I'm saying.
Right. Well, I guess to name the guys y'all took off y'all practice squad that are stars for y'all.
I can't, Eric, but I can't name most offensive linemen, so that's not fair. You know what I'm saying? I can't name.
I just think what you're talking about is such a small, minute. Who gives a shit?
Every franchise wants that small, minute guy, Eric. That's what everybody's looking for.
But that person still exists.
Yeah, but you need that guy at every position.
Right, he still exists.
He
Go
does.
find him. That's your job.
Right. I just fear, my only argument was, I just fear that guys like that get buried in squads. And it's
The
over.
only thing with preseason, you're seeing backups play against backups, so you're not getting a good read on that guy anyway.
I know, but
He's not
everybody
playing
talks
against
about
the best of
everybody
the
else does it, but no, they don't. Baseball has spring training. Basketball has
It's
summer
more-
leagues.
But like I said, it's more.
Bullshit. It's not true.
It's more. I can get more out of, like I said, with these inter squad scrimmages, because I can see
But they're not
this
scrimmages.
rookie DB that I have play against their best wide receiver. Let me see you play against
Let
the
me
best.
see you
Let me
stop
see what
him.
that is. I don't want to see you play against the third dude who's gonna be selling insurance next fucking week.
Go out there and
Who
cover
cares
Julio
about that?
Jones. Yeah.
Let me see and just compete. Let me see how you compete. That's what I want to watch. I don't need to see you do this, dude. Like I said, he can be selling insurance next week. Who gives a fuck?
So-
Am I really getting a read on that?
So should teams be able to inter-squad practice then? If there's no preseason, should
Not
they at
this
least?
year. I mean, you're gonna have to make some concessions this year, but you know.
All right. We ain't gonna get anywhere. on
No, I'm
this,
just
'cause
saying.
we all disagree.
I
I've
don't think
always
you need
thought they should
preseason
be
to get
I've always thought 4 preseason games was ridiculous. The 4th preseason game is absolutely ridiculous. And the first they don't really play.
Right.
You're watching a really, really bad college football game.
2 games, Greg.
Right.
You watching a
Right.
really bad college
What about
football
2
game
games?
when it comes to those guys. And I've always thought, at most, two
Yep.
scrimmages, 2 joint scrimmages,
Okay.
and 2 preseason games if you have to, and then start the season. 1 at home, 1 on the road, and then start the season.
I think that is 100% fair.
But in this
But y'all
case,
were talking about
but
zero.
in this case, I don't think, drop that shit to 0.
Because of COVID?
Drop that shit to 0 and see how it works. See how it works.
But because of COVID?
Absolutely because of COVID this year.
Okay. Then I'll buy that.
And then see how it works.
Then I'll buy that. And then next
And
year we might need to.
if it works,
Right.
Okay.
if it works and you don't see the product suffers on the field because it doesn't suffer in the college,
Yeah, I get it.
in the NCAA,
Sure.
if it doesn't suffer on the field, then let's move that to our new business.
Yeah, that's
model.
fair.
To get back to where you are, then yes, I think I would be, if we had to have preseason, I think that's what you're trying to ask.
Yeah.
If we have to have it, yeah, 2 games. No more than 2. You don't need no more.
I don't even think you need to, but you have to have inter-scrimmages, inter-squad
Some kind of,
scrimmages.
yeah.
Like,
yeah.
we need film on, like,
Yeah.
you can't just hide
Right.
20 players.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. Those GMs will go find
Because
players.
teams are going to do that. It's the NFL, man. They're going to hide this left tackle that they think could be game changer and hope you don't find them. They're forced to find you now.
It's the purpose of your area scouts.
That's
the purpose
true.
of your scouting director.
I don't
The purpose of your
disagree.
GM.
That's what I'm saying.
They've been scouting these guys all year. Your area scouts have
There
been
are no
scouting those
surprises,
college guys,
yeah.
those college
But
guys all
y'all
year.
just said, let me see
He
you
is
do it
saying,
against
hey,
NFL
look,
talent.
he's going to that GM and saying, look, that left tackle down there that came from,
I don't get that
that came
practice
from
now.
South Georgia is pretty damn good. We might need to take a look at him. They got film on
These
him.
agents and all that, you can, they
But do they,
like I said, there are no surprises. These
we're going in
GMs
circles.
are
Do they
surprised.
have film against a professional football player on the opposite
Yes,
team?
they're practicing
Going
against
for the-
professional football players.
Agreed. Same dude. Over and
No,
over and over again.
yeah, but you're going against
Just saying,
you're going
it
against a
matters.
starter, not a dude that's going to be selling insurance.
All right.
There's a difference.
There's a
In
lot of
practice-
dudes. There's a lot of dudes that are going to sell insurance. I just think there's going to be a lot more if there's no preseason. That's all I'm saying. I agree with you. A lot of dudes are going to sell insurance. Hopefully, make a career in public speaking,
Dude.
whatever it is.
All I'm gonna say to counter that. So what?
So what?
That's on you. Because I know each team, if they have 73 roster spots, you're gonna have 73 people. Now, if you ain't one of them 73,
That's
go
a
sell
lot.
insurance.
That's a
just,
lot of
it is what it
players.
is. You know what I'm saying? But
I agree.
those spots
That's a
will
lot of
be
players.
filled.
Yeah.
Now, if you're not in there, don't blame me. Don't blame. That's on you.
But what about making the roster? What's the practice squad? So it's 53-man active roster, practice squad.
Right now it's like 7. I think they moved
It's
it to
50,
12.
it's 53 right now. Well, it was 10 last year.
So
It's going to be at least 12. It's going to be a minimum of 12 this
17
year.
players.
But they are talking about maybe expanding it to 20.
Should be 20.
This year, particularly.
20.
Hell, make it 25.
Make it 25.
Even if you do that, I agree with both of you guys. Then it's a simple argument.
Make it 25. Yeah.
In practice, you either make the squad or you don't. The preseason game's not going to matter as far as that's concerned.
So let me ask you this. So going forward in terms of practice, I think that they should expand the practice rosters anyway.
Okay.
Even if
It's
it's
usually
preseason?
10.
I think it should at least be 15.
Just on any given season.
Yeah.
COVID-19 or not, just whatever.
Right.
With the same rules, if another team gets an injury,
Yes.
and they like a practice squad
Yes.
guy, they can come take him off that practice squad and make him a part of their 53. Okay.
That's definitely player friendly.
Yeah, I think
100%.
Right. And these, you got more guys getting.
I like that idea.
What you're talking about.
I like that.
That gives a guy a legitimate chance to really show somebody something.
I'm with that.
Okay.
That makes sense. That's a good idea. So what do they do now? So now,
That's what they do now.
they come and pluck that guy? What is the rules of taking a guy?
You have to cut them. You have to cut them. And when you go, normally they build up to 90, and then they cut down to 53. All right, and then they want to establish their 10-man practice squad, but they have to cut a guy that they really like and let him clear waivers. If he clears waivers and no team claims him, then they can come back and say, okay, we want to put you on our practice squad. So we're going to assign you to our practice squad a day after you clear waivers.
What if you're already on the practice squad?
There are no practice squads.
You're this. Okay.
You have to be cut. If you don't make the 53-man roster, everybody else is cut.
So it's just a pool ready to be plucked.
Yeah, it's a pool of...
I like that,
That's
dude.
what I'm saying.
Yeah, I
So,
like that.
That's what I'm saying. So there are no secrets.
Yeah, I like that.
That's what the waivers. That's so.
Yeah, I like
this
that.
guy.
But see, what I'm talking about is with this, because I have got rookies,
Yeah.
particularly my first 3 rookies.
Yeah.
And sophomores, I think you should add them, but
All
whatever.
right, because I got rookies,
Yeah.
I want to be able to put my rookies on my practice squad without them having to clear waivers. I've invested high picks on those guys.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to stick them on my practice squad without them having to clear waivers. And they're protected.
You know, that might eliminate guys fizzling out so fast.
So you get an advantage of having those guys on the practice squad and then having those 3 active roster spots on your active for active.
Well, see, right now,
With those your 3 top draft picks, would they count against your 53? I guess is what I meant.
Yeah.
if you put them on your 53, yes, they count against you.
But if you got them on your practice
If you
squad,
put,
then
no, they don't.
Nah,
Okay.
And
you ain't gonna draft them
and
if
that was
they
my
ain't-
point.
okay.
That was
You
my
ain't gonna-
point. What you want to do is on my 53, because I haven't had an opportunity to have an off season.
Yeah.
On my 53, I want guys that at least have 1 year in my system. I gotta get ready to play a season.
Yeah.
I don't need rookies who are out there thinking too much and are not ready on my damn 53. I need them on my practice
You
squad.
get 6-7 picks, dog. If you ain't feeling those picks, trade it. But those picks matter. I think they matter huge. Period.
What are you talking about?
I don't want to see teams be able to stash draft picks.
Why?
Because, man.
We can do that now.
No, but that defeats the purpose of the draft then.
How?
Because guys get drafted based upon their talent sets.
But I drafted you. I don't have to play you. Just because I drafted you number 1 overall, you can sit and wait.
I didn't say you had to pay them. I
No,
said
you don't play them. So I
didn't
don't
say
say
you
so
have-
I'm
I didn't-
stashing them.
Okay, well then you're stashing them for whatever your contract is for
I
stashing.
mean, you gotta pay them.
Okay, well that's another argument then. What do you have to pay them? You drafted the number 1 overall.
No,
what do
you pay them what you pay. I'm just saying you can stash them. You don't have to play
But
them.
you guys insinuated that the guy can, like, basically you get drafted here and can just wind up on any team. Did I misunderstand what y'all were saying? Like, okay, tell me what you're saying in terms of rookie guys, as far as practice squad is concerned, right? Let's just say you draft 6 guys, right? And one of the 6 that you draft, 2 of the 6, you want to put on your practice squad or your actives, right? Look, what are you going to do with those guys,
What he just said was he's gonna take his top 3 draft picks,
right?
put them on the practice squad.
Okay. Period.
Yeah, I guess I don't know what the rest of it is.
Your top 3 guys don't deserve. Your top 3 guys
How do
should
you
be
know
starters.
How do you know what they deserve? I don't know. I understand what they should.
What are we
be.
talking? Look, if I'm drafting a guy first, I need him to start.
I understand that, but you telling me there are people drafted in the first round that don't start?
There
Is that what
shouldn't
you're telling
be.
me? I don't give a damn what shouldn't be. I'm asking you what does happen.
So they should go to the practice squad with no
I'm
penalty.
asking you, are there guys drafted in the first round that do not start?
Yes.
Okay, then. So that happens now.
Yeah.
All right. So then
It does.
Yeah, of course he should start, but obviously he ain't good enough.
So then you're saying, if I drafted this guy, I should get a free pass. Let me put him on my practice squad with no
You're
penalty.
not a free pass. You're paying
No,
them.
no, is that what you're saying?
If you want to, it's your prerogative. That's your player. Well, I don't get where you're going with this. If I want to
roster-
draft this dude and he ain't good enough, I don't have to play him.
The active roster counts, E. Like, all right. What? I'm gonna ask you again. You draft a guy in the first 3 rounds. He's not on your active roster. What are your suggestions should happen with him as a player? Active roster player or practice squad player?
You can put him on your you can make him part of your 53, or you can put him on your practice squad.
Obviously. So are you saying
All
that?
he's saying is you don't have to cut them to put them on your practice squad. If that's
They don't
the
have to
decision.
clear waivers. They don't have to clear waivers.
That's all he's saying. He's saying those top 3 that you say should be started. Right.
Because they
I'm
missed,
trying to understand it. Why y'all
they
being
missed
mixed?
20
Come on.
practices. They have missed roughly 20 practices from the time that they were drafted until today.
Okay.
They have missed roughly 20 practices because there's been no mini camps, no rookie camps, no OTAs.
All right.
So they missed about 20 practices. That's
Installation,
a lot.
that's a lot.
That is no field time whatsoever.
Fair enough.
So for them,
Right.
they are well behind the learning curve.
Easily.
Extremely far behind the learning curve. What I want, and this is the first thing I said, I want 53 guys that at least have 1 year of experience in my system so that they're not far behind that learning curve.
So you're not even eligible to make the roster in your head.
I want to be able to put those 3 guys because they don't know they don't know anything yet.
All right.
I want to be able to put them on my practice squad without having to cut them first, and they are protected from anybody coming and taking them because I have spent a really high draft pick on them.
I think that is a wonderful idea. So maybe we went around in a circle for no reason, but I think that's a great idea. Hey,
Tell us what you think.
somebody else was lost.
Please comment. Let us know what you think. What do you think the NFL should do with the preseason? Should the preseason be 2 games? Should it be no game? Should it be 1 game?
It's fluid. It's a fluid situation.
It is. It is.
COVID-19 changes that situation though a lot, but whatever.
Tell us what you think. Comment on what you think how you like our argument. If you agree with us, let us know. If you disagree, let us know. Bring something to the show, and we will absolutely read it on air. We'll talk about your comments. That'll do it for us. Spirited
Raw as hell,
debate today.
Right on, fellas.
Raw as hell. We'll be back. Thanks for joining us.